really hard. Because, oh, Burger posting, hi! That's probably what's fucking me up so bad. I've been sleeping like hell. What I mean by this, the reason I haven't been streaming all that much, and I will apologize to this for this profusely, is because I've been I'm not gonna lie, chat, I've been dealing with some fuck shit. Mainly some mental health issues and physical health issues. I don't have proper means to take care of myself currently, but I am doing my best with what I am with what I am dealt. And currently, I'm doing a little better. I'm doing a little better. I have my support group, and I'm been chilling. So hopefully, I'll be able to stream more often now. I'll just be pumping out so many fucking streams because like I I want to stream. I want to. I don't like canceling, but I sometimes I cannot help it when I literally can't even keep my eyes open. But yeah, what else do we got going on? It's good to hear. Just don't overwork yourself. I'm trying. I'm trying not to overwork myself because at the end of the day, I am only one person, and I have a lot of fuck shit going up in my noggin. You know, with the autism, ADHD, borderline, you know, the usual bullshit. But I'm trying. I'm really trying, and that's what matters, I think. I'm trying my best out here. And thank you even anyway with the continued support because quite frankly, I kind of need to remember that like people actually want me to be around. That's like the main thing I'm struggling with. But no more on a downer note. It's been 10 minutes and it seems like Burger Posting is going to be in charge of my restream. Thank you, Burger. You're the best. So we'll be doing some readings. The stories I have up right now are Jeff the Killer, Eyeless Jack, and Sonic EXE. Y'all didn't recommend me much, so y'all get stuck with the shitty stories. So you also get my commentary as I'm reading this. All right, so the first story we are going to read is a classic, the beloved, the everything that is to us, Jeff the Killer. The original story, written by, I forget who it was written by. Hang on. Isn't there, like, a name to this story? Like, who wrote it? This source that I'm reading it from doesn't have that. I'll be linking the original stories in the tweet after I'm done. That way you guys can read them yourselves. Let's see. All right. If we're all here, it's time. 3, 2, 1. Excerpt from the local newspaper. Ominous unknown killer still at large. Off to a great start already. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence had been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story. All right, here we go. I had a bad dream and woke up in the middle of the night, said the boy. I saw that for some reason the window was open, even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed. I got up and shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had this strange feeling like someone was watching me. I'm gonna bring you guys up with me. There we go. That way I'm not looking up all the time. Hi. Welcome. We're reading Jeff the Killer. Enjoy your stay. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling, like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in the little ray of light illuminating from between my curtains, was a pair of two eyes. These weren't regular eyes, they were dark, ominous eyes. They were bordered in black and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his mouth. A long, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there watching me. Finally, after what seemed like forever, he said it. A simple phrase, but said in a way only a madman could speak. I mean, if that's the descriptor you want to go with, sure. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That's what sent him at me. He pulled a knife, aiming at my heart. He jumped at the top of my bed. I fought him back. I kicked, I punched, I rolled around, trying to knock him off of me. That's when my dad busted in. The man threw the knife. It went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. Hi, thank you, thank you. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash, like glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out to see him vanish into the distance. I could tell you one thing, I will never forget that face. Nice voice. Thank you. I'm just reading, so that's not the usual voice, but I'm just pulling out my Tails voice for the sake of reading the story. I looked out to see him vanish in the distance. I can tell you one thing. I will never forget that face. Those cold, evil eyes and that psychotic smile. It'll never leave my head. Police are still on the look for this man. Police are still on the look for this man. On the lookout, you mean? If you see anyone that fits that description in this story, please contact your local police department. Alright, a lot of old creepypastas would try to ground themselves in reality. On to them was just completely absurd. Alright, now we get into the backstory time. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work, and they thought it would be best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Lou couldn't complain, though. A new, better house. What was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of their neighbors came by. "Hello," she said. "I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son." She turned around and called her son over. "Billy, these are our new neighbors." Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard. "Well," said Jeff's mom, "I'm Margaret, and this is my husband Peter, and these are my two sons, Jeff and Lou." They each introduced themselves. Then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday. You could just write that out. You can write more dialogue. You know that, right? Uh, early stories are certainly something. Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said that they would love to. When Jeff and his family are done packing, Jeff went up to his mom. "Mom, why would you invite us to some kid's party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not just some dumb kid." "Jeff," said his mother, "we just moved here, and we should show that we want to spend some time with our neighbors. Now, we're going to that party, and that's final." You can tell a teenager wrote this. You can tell a teenager wrote this. I'm sorry. Hello, new people. Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing he couldn't do anything. Whatever his mom said something, it was final. He walked up to his room and plopped down on his bed. He sat there looking at the ceiling when suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much a pain, but a weird feeling. He dismissed it as just some random feeling. "You said feeling so many times. Please, pick up a thesaurus." He heard his mother call him down to get his stuff, and he walked down to get it. So help me. God. The next day, Jeff walked down the stairs to get breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there eating his breakfast, he once again got that feeling. This time it was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging pain. Let my man feel. Jeff feel that feeling. He felt the same feeling that felt that exactly. God, the story is so fucking bad. Oh my god. Okay. This time was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging pain. But he once again dismissed it. As he and Lou finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the bus, and then, all of a sudden, some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps. I don't think the other would feel too good about your feelings, about the character's feelings. The author of this story is probably like grown now. I don't know how they feel about it nowadays. They both jumped back in surprise. Hey, what the hell? The kid landed and turned back to them. He kicked his skateboard up and caught it with his hands. The kid seemed to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff. Right, I forgot Jeff is like 13 in this fucking story. He wasn't 14. I was wrong. He was 13. And I can't tell if that makes it better or worse. He was wearing an air. How do you pronounce that word? Aerospate? Arios. Aripasto? He was wearing a shirt, certainly, and ripped blue jeans. Well, well, well. Looks like we got some fresh meat. Oh, you are such a teenager. Suddenly, two other kids appeared. One was super skinny, and the other was huge. Like, fat or buff? How's a 12-year-old either? They're like sticks all the time. Hello, hello. Knuckles the echidna profile picture. I immediately, you are cool. Heyo, hello. Okay. Oh, here we go. Since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. What? I'd like to introduce ourselves? Okay. Over there is Keith. Jeff and Lou looked over the skinny kid. He had a dopey face that you would expect a sidekick to have. That's not a descriptor. And he's Troy. They looked over the fat kid. Oh, he is fat. Okay. Talk about a love of a tub of lard. You're describing a 12-year-old kid as like a tub of lard. Oh my god. The kid looked like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling. You're so mean. You're so mean to this poor kid. And I, said the first kid, am Randy. Now, for all the kids in this neighborhood, there's a small price for bus fare, if you catch my drift. Lou stood up, ready to punch the lights out of the kid's eyes, when one of his friends pulled a knife on him. Why does a 12-year-old have a knife? What's going on at home? Is everything okay? I'd hoped you would be more cooperative, but it just seems we might have to do this the hard way. The kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got this feeling again. Now it was truly strong, a burning sensation. He stood up, but Lou gestured him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid. Listen here, you little punk. Give back my bro's wallet or else. Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife. Oh? And what will you do? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose. As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Hello? Randy screamed, and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped his knife and fell to the ground, screaming. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach, and Troy went down. As he fell, he puked all over. Lou could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Bear in mind, Jeff is 13. Gang, let me be so fucking real with you. I am trying so hard to keep a straight face. It is so hard when this story is so fucking. Okay. Jeff, how would you. That was all he said. I am taking every single bit of psychic damage I physically can while I'm doing this. It was a product of the time. Yeah, like 2013, I think? God. That was all he said. They saw the bus coming and knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing, so they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Lou made it to school, they didn't dare tell what happened. All they did was sit and listen. Lou just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids. That's exactly what it was, the fuck? The urge to but Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary. As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was. The urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. Oh, so he just suffers from sociopathy. I think, or is it sociopathy or psychopathy? Either way, antisocial personality disorder. Where was I? Oh, he felt that strange feeling go away and stay away for the entire day of school. Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop and how he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore, he felt happy. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was, and he said in a somewhat ominous voice, "It was a wonderful day." Next morning, he heard a knock at the front door. He walked down to find two police officers at the door, his mother looking back at him with an angry look. Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids, that it wasn't regular fighting and that they were stabbed. Stabbed, son? Stabbed, son? Excuse me. Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true. Mom, they were the ones who pulled knives on me and Lou. Son, said one of the cops, we found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his stomach, and we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now what does that tell us? Jeff knew it was no use. He could say him and Lou had been attacked, but there was no proof if it was not them who attacked first. They couldn't say that they were fleeing because truth be told they were, so Jeff couldn't defend himself or Lou. Son, call down your brother. Jeff couldn't do it since it was him who beat up all the kids. Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me. The cop looked at his partner and they both nodded. Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie. Wait! Said Lou. They all looked up to see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns and locked them on Lou. It was me. I beat up those little punks. Have the marks to prove it. He lifted up his sleeves to reveal cuts and bruises, as if he was in a struggle. Is this implying he did those to himself? Because I don't remember them actually, hitting Lou. Oh, fuck, they are self-inflicted. Son, just put the knife down, said the officer. Lou held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops. No, Lou, it was me! I did it! Jeff had tears running down his face. Huh, poor bro, trying to take the blame for what I did. Well, take me away. The police led Lou out to the patrol car. Lou, tell them it was me! Tell them! I was the one who beat up those kids! Jeff's mother put her hand on his shoulders. Jeff, please, you don't have to lie. We know it's Lou. You can stop. Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car sped off with Lou inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong. Son? Son, what is it? God, this is not how parents talk. Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him, and as Jeff wept in the driveway. After an hour or so, Jeff walked back to the house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed. He couldn't look. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou when it was his fault. He just wanted to sleep, trying to get the whole thing off his mind. 2 days went by, with no word of Lou at JDC. No friends to hang out with, nothing but sadness and guilt. That is until Saturday, when Jeff woke up to his mother with a happy, sunshiny face. Jeff, it's the day, she said as she opened up the curtains and let the lights flood in the moon. She said as she opened up the curtains and let light flood into his room. What's today? Asked Jeff as he stirs awake. Why, it's Billy's party. He was now fully awake. Mom, you're joking, right? You wouldn't expect me to go to some kid's party after... There was a long pause. Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brightens up the past days. Now, get dressed. Well, I mean, that's one way to do it, I guess. Jeff's mother walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready herself. He fought himself to get up. He picked out a random shirt and a pair of jeans and walked downstairs. Excuse me. He saw his mother and father all dressed up. His mother in a dress and his father in a suit. He thought, why would they wear such fancy clothes to a kid's party? Son, is that all you're gonna wear? Oh, that's his mom. Son, is that all you're gonna wear? Said Jeff's mom. Better than wearing too much, he said. His mother pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hid it with a smile. Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression, said his father. Oh my god, they keep... Okay, whatever, said his father. Jeff grunted and went back up to his room. I don't have any fancy clothes, he yelled downstairs. Just pick out something, called his mother. He looked around his closet for what we would call fancy. He found a pair of black dress pants he had for special occasions and an undershirt. He couldn't find a shirt to go with it, though. He looked around and found some old striped and patterned shirts, none of which would go with the dress pants. Finally, he found a white hoodie and put it on. Guys, there it is. There's the hoodie. We win. Wrap it up. Oh my god. You're wearing that? They both said. His mother looked at her watch. Oh, no time to change. Let's just go. I mean, okay, on one hand, you can tell a teenager wrote this. On the other, this is a very real situation, so I can't even be all that mad about it because, like, when I had come from the stars, the people I was living with at the time, they would get on my ass sometimes for dressing too casually for special events. Just like, you're wearing a black shirt with black pants. It's a graphic tee. Why are you wearing that? And I'm like, I don't like wearing fancy clothes. I only save the fancy clothes for when I'm working. That's it. You will see me in, like, emo graphic t-shirts outside of that, like fandom t-shirts. Waltz into the room in shorts with a Hatsune Miku fucking shirt, just being like, all right, I'm ready to go. You're going to a bar in that? Yes. Actively. Yes. Spoiler alert, I never actually been to a bar before. But you get the idea. Nice, thank you. Stroll in with the Hatsune Miku shirt, just like, all right, where my ladies at? Where my men at? Where's everyone? Can I get anything? No. Okay. Fucking dorcas. All right, let's keep going. I'll go into the bar with my Miku Expo short and jorts on. Real shit. I have, like, these really cute, like, black like ripped shorts. Like the you can see the pockets, like the deep ass pockets, like poking out from the bottom. Like they're really fucking cute. Maybe if I ever get like new clothes, I can wear them for a stream one day. That'd be fun. Wear a more emo fit to take everyone off guard. The astrology boy is emo? No duh. The stars are my friends. I'm perpetually looking into the darkness every time to say hello to my dad. Like, the fuck you mean? Of course I'm gonna be emo. So edgy. I know, right? Such an edgy boy. Such an edgy boy. I mean, like, I am the epitome of edgy. Totally. You believe me. You believe me, right? You believe me. Yeah, you totally believe me. Anyway, let's continue. She said as she herded Jeff and his father out the door. They crossed the street over to Barbara and Billy's house. They knocked on the door as it appeared that, and added, and at it, okay. This is such a weird sentence. They knocked on the door, and at it appeared that Barbara, just like his parents, were way overdressed. As they walked inside, all Jeff could see were adults, no kids. The kids are out in the yard. Jeff, how about you go and meet some of them? Said Barbara. Jeff walked outside to a yard full of kids. They were running around in weird cowboy costumes and shooting each other with plastic guns. He might as well be standing in a Toys R Us. Suddenly, a kid came up to him and handed him a toy gun and hat. Hey, wanna play? He said. No, kid, I'm way too old for this stuff. You are 13! The kid looked at him with that weird puppy dog face. Please, said the kid. Fine, said Jeff. He put on the hat and started to pretend shoot at the kids. At first, he thought it was totally ridiculous, but then he started to have some fun. It might not have been super cool, but it was the first time he had done something that took his mind off of Lou. So he played with the kids for a while, until he heard a noise, a weird rolling noise. Then it hit him. Randy, Troy, and Keith all jumped over the fence on their skateboards. Huh? On their skateboards or with their skateboards in hand? Both are something no 12-year-old should be able to do. The fuck? How short is the fence? Or how high can they jump? Hello? What are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean? What? What? No. Just pull back. Don't apply too much reality to the situation. It's fine. It's fine. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with burning hatred. Hello, Jeff, is it? He said. We have some unfinished business. Jeff saw his bruised nose. I think we're even. I beat the crap out of you, and you got my brother sent to JDC. Randy got an angry look on his face. Oh, no, I don't go for even. I go for winning. You may have kicked our asses that one day, but not today. As he said that, Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose, and Jeff grabbed him by the ears and headbutted him. Can you do that? Can you, pull someone by their ear like that? Is that possible? I mean, I can do it to myself because, I my brain is sending signals to do so, but can that actually... Whatever. Jeff pushed Randy off of him and both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming and parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith both pulled guns out of their pocket. No one interrupts or guts will fly, they said. Randy pulled a knife on Jeff and stabbed him in his shoulder. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabbed his foot and twisted it, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and walked towards the back door. Troy grabbed him. Need some help? He picked Jeff up by the back of the collar and threw him through the patio door. As Jeff tried to stand, he is kicked to the ground. Randy repeatedly started kicking Jeff until he started to cough up blood. Come on, Jeff, fight me! He picked Jeff up and threw him into the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head. Fight! He throws Jeff back into the living room. Come on, Jeff, look at me! Jeff glances up, his face riddled in blood. I was the one who got your brother sent to JDC, and now you're just gonna sit there and let him rot in there for a whole year? You should be ashamed! Jeff started to get up. Oh, finally you stand and fight! Jeff is now on his feet, blood and vodka on his face. Once again, he gets that strange feeling, the one in which he hadn't felt in a while. Finally, he's up. Fuck the dad, bro. What the fuck? That's what I'm saying. That's when it happens. Something inside Jeff snaps. Hi, video. Something snapped. Something inside me. His psyche is destroyed. Oh my god. Hi, we're reading shitty creepypastas. Alright. All rational thinking is gone. All he can do is kill. He grabs Randy and pile drives him to the ground. He gets on top of him and punches him straight in the heart. The punch causes Randy's heart to stop. What? What? Can that happen? Can you punch someone in the chest so hard their heart stops? What? Can that happen? Yes? Okay, better question. Can a 12-year-old do that? Can a 13-year-old do that? With their scrawny ass fucking arms? Like, hello? Doubtful. That's what I'm saying, like. I don't see why not, but I've heard the timing has to be right. This is a 13-year-old beating the shit out of a 12-year-old. So, make of this what you will. Small hands cannot output that much force. That's what I'm saying. God, I'm gonna say this is such teenager writing. Okay. As Randy gasps for breath, Jeff hammers down on him. Punch after punch, blood gushes from Randy's body until he takes one final breath and dies. Just right there? Just right there? Just straight dies? Keep it together. Keep it together. I gotta sit there. I gotta do this. I promised I'm delivering. I want to scream so bad. God, okay. Everyone is looking at Jeff now. The parents, the crying kids, even Troy and Keith. Although they easily break from their gaze and point their guns at Jeff. Jeff sees the guns trained on him and runs for the stairs. As he runs, Troy and Keith Wait, the adults are watching this entire fucking time? And not one of them has tried to interfere? I'm pretty sure a bunch of grown-ass people can overpower and take the guns away from 12-year-olds. Oh, the story. Okay. As he runs, Troy and Keith let out fire on him. That would kill somebody. Each shot missing. That would kill somebody! Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith follow up behind. As they let out their final round of bullets. How many bullets do they have? Jeff ducks into the bathroom. He grabs the towel rack and rips it off the wall. Troy and Keith race in, knives ready. They have knives too. Oh my god. Troy swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away and bangs the towel rack into Troy's face. Troy goes down hard, and now all that's left is Keith. He's more agile than Troy, though, and ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack. He drops the knife and grabs Jeff by the neck. He pushed him into the wall. A thing of bleach fell down on top of him from the top shelf. Why is there bleach on the top shelf? It burnt both of them, and they both started to scream. Jeff wiped his eyes as best as he could. He pulled back the towel rack and swung it straight into Keith's head. As he laid there bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile. He's bleeding to death? Wait, the little 12-year-old is just bleeding to death just straight up? Are you sure? What's so funny? Asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter and switched it on. What's funny, he said, is that you're covered in bleach and alcohol. I'm gonna assume that Keith got hit in the head with the towel rack so hard that it just fucked him up. Like it cracked open his skull, which that I can believe. I can believe that, but I don't think he'd be bleeding to death. He would just be bleeding. Jeff's eyes widened as Keith threw the lighter at him. As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames ignited the alcohol in the vodka. Is that how that works? Hang on. Is vodka flammable? Vodka. Most of the vodkas are 40% or over, which means they will burn in a clean blue flame. So essentially, this kid turned Jeff into a light show. Sure, cool with that. Jeff, okay. While the alcohol burned him, the bleach bleached his skin. No, really? I could have never fucking guessed the bleach would bleach his skin. I could have never fucking imagined. Could have never thought. Like, couldn't even fathom the idea. That's crazy. Jeff let out a terrible scream as he caught on fire. He tried to roll out the flame, but it was no use. The alcohol had made him a walking inferno. Yes, it is Jeff the Killer. We're reading the original Jeff the Killer story from like 2012, 2013. Was it released in 20... Hang on. Jeff the Killer original story release date. The earliest sighting of him was in 2008. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about let's see. Where is the fucking... Original story is about Jeffrey Hoods as an unauthorized fan fiction. The story was just complete, updated. I'm trying to find the 2012, 2013 was the prime year. It was. It really was. 2012. It came out in 2012. Oh. The little moon-looking part of your glass is very creative. Thank you. I think it's really cool too. Sorry, I had to literally just like hunt the fuck down when the story came out. It came out in 2012. Oh my god. Okay. It's fine. He ran down the hall and fell down the stairs. Everyone started screaming as they saw Jeff. Now a man on fire dropped to the ground nearly dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and the other parents trying to extinguish the flame. That's when he passed out. When Jeff woke up, he was cast wrapped around his face. There's worse fanfics. Oh yeah, the two other stories I picked, one of them is okay, and the other one is even worse than this. He couldn't see anything, but he felt a cast on his shoulder and stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up, but he realized that there was some tube in his arm. When he tried to get up, it fell out, and a nurse rushed in. I don't think he could get out of bed just yet, she said as she pulled him back to his bed and reinserted the tube. That's not... Are they thinking of an IV? That's a needle. That doesn't come out that easy. The fuck? You have to essentially rip that shit out. Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea what his surroundings were. Finally, after a few hours, he heard his mother. Honey, are you okay? She asked. Jeff couldn't answer, though. His face was covered and he was unable to speak. Oh, honey, I have great news. After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed to trying to attack you, they decided to let Lou go. This made Jeff almost bolt up, stopping halfway, remembering the tube coming out of his arm. He'll be out by tomorrow, and then you two will be able to be together again. Jeff's mother hugged Jeff and said her goodbyes. The next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was visited by his family. Then came the day where his bandages were to be removed. His family were all there to see it. What would he look like? As the doctors unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face, everyone was on the edge of their seats. They waited until the last bandage holding the covering of his face was almost removed. Let's hope for the best, said the doctor. He quickly pulled the cloth, letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screamed at the sight of his face. Lou and Jeff's dad stared awestruck at his face. What? What's happened to my face? Jeff said. He rushed out of bed and ran into the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw the cause of the distress. His face, it's horrible. His lips were burnt to a deep shade of red. His face was turned into a pure white color, and his hair singed from brown to black. He slowly put his hand to his face. It had a sort of leathery feel to it now. He looked back at his family in the back of the mirror. Jeff, said Lou, it's not that bad. Not that bad, said Jeff. It's perfect! His family were equally surprised. Jeff started laughing uncontrollably. His parents noticed that his left eye and hand were twitching. Jeff, are you okay? Okay? I've never felt more happy! Look at me! This face goes perfectly with me! He couldn't stop laughing. He stroked his face, feeling it, looking at it in the mirror. What caused this? Well, you may recall that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind, his sanity, snapped. Now he was left as a crazy killing machine. That is, his parents didn't know. That's a weird sentence. You could essentially say that his psyche essentially shattered. And you'd get the point across like that. But he's not a killing machine yet. Well, no, he did just kill a bunch of 12-year-olds, didn't he? Fuck me. Doctor, said Jeff's mom, is my son all right? You know, in the head? That's the words of a concerned mother. Oh, yes, this behavior is typical for patients that have taken very large amount of painkillers. If his behavior doesn't change in a few weeks, bring him back here and we'll give him a psychological test. I don't think painkillers are supposed to make your sanity break. They're supposed to make you woozy at worst. Jeff would be not even be able to stand right now, let alone laugh maniacally. Makes the pain feel less painful. It kind of numbs it, yeah. Oh, thank you, doctor. Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. Jeff, sweetie, it's time to go. Jeff looked away from the mirror, his face still formed into a crazy smile. "'Kay, mommy." His mother took him by the shoulder and took him to get his clothes. This is what came in, said the lady at the desk. Jeff's mom looked down to see the black dress pants and white hoodie her son wore. Now they were clean from blood and now stitched together. Jeff's mother led him to the room and made him put his clothes on. Then they left, not knowing this was their final day of life. Stop it! This isn't how you write anything ever. Fuck. Okay. Later that night, Jeff's mother woke to a sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded as if someone was crying. She slowly walked over to see what it was. When she looked into the bathroom, she saw a horrendous sight. Jeff had taken a knife and carved a smile into his cheeks. Jeff, what are you doing? Asked his mother. Jeff looked over at his mother. I couldn't stop smiling, Mommy. It hurt after a while. Now I could smile forever. Jeff's mother noticed his eyes, ringed and black. Jeff, your eyes! His smile seemingly never closing. I couldn't see my face. I got tired and my eyes started to close. I burnt out the eyelids so I could forever see myself. My new face. Jeff's mother slowly started to back away, seeing that her son was going insane. What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful? Yes, son, she said. Yes, you are. Let me go get Daddy so he can see your face. She ran into the room and shook Jeff's dad from his sleep. Honey, get the gun. She stopped as she saw Jeff in the door, holding a knife. Mommy, you lied. That's the last thing they heard as Jeff rushed them with a knife, gutting both of them. 13-year-old, by the way. I want y'all to remember 13-year Fuck. Okay. His brother Lou woke up, startled by some noise. He didn't hear anything else, so he just shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep. As he bordered on slumber, he got the strangest feeling that someone was watching him. He looked up before Jeff's hand covered his mouth. He slowly raised the knife, ready to plunge it into Lou. Lou thrashed here and there, trying to escape Jeff's grip. Shh, Jeff said. Just go to sleep. That's the end of the story. So, what do we rate that out of 10? I rate that a 2 out of 10. I'm still sane. We're still good. I have some sanity left. Yeah, fucking edgy out of edgy. Yeah. Oh, dude. Need painkillers out of 10. I can't make a joke like that then. That'd be bad. Oh my god, this story is so bad. Let's cleanse our palate. Really quick. I have a new story up that is not as bad. I have a question. Can we submit a no sleep story? Do no sleeps really count as creepypasta though? I mean, kind of. But usually no sleep stories are really fucking long. That's why I avoid them, because they're so fucking long. My ADHD ass could never. But if you have one that's like creepypasta-esque and can be read in one stream, yeah, recommend it to me. All right. Next story is Eyeless Jack. Yahoo! Yippee! Yahoo! Okay. Palette cleanser time, because the story is okay. The story is like okay. Yeah. Eyeless Jack. It was made around the same era as Jeff the Killer. I don't remember if it came before or after. But that is the case. So you guys ready for a palette cleanser before we read one of the worst stories in creepypasta? Yeah, I bet you are. Let's do this shit. Yippee! All right. Eyeless Jack. Hello. My name is Mitch. That's a name. Who names their kid Mitch? Sorry if your name's actually Mitch. That's just a really funny name. Thank you for the follow. All right. I'm here to tell you guys about an experience I had. I don't know if it was paranormal or whatever stupid words people used to describe supernatural phenomena, but after that thing visited me, I kind of believe that paranormal trash now. A week after I moved in with my brother, Edwin, after my house was foreclosed, I finished unpacking. Edwin liked the idea of me moving in since we had not seen each other after like 10 years. So I was excited too. I soon fell asleep after I moved in. After that 1 week, I heard rustling noises coming from outside at about 1 in the morning. I thought it was raccoons, so I ignored it and tried to fall asleep. The next morning, I told Edwin about it, and he agreed. The next night, however, I thought I heard my window opening with a loud thump, as if something had entered my room. I darted up and looked around my room, but I saw nothing. The next morning, Edwin dropped his coffee cup when he saw me. He held up a nearby mirror, and I saw myself. I had a large gash in my left cheek. How do you not notice that? Wouldn't there be like so much blood? Like, blood is warm. You would feel that. Take it from someone who had like extremely when I was a young little starling, I had a bad time with nosebleeds. Like I would just get them randomly. And either by being a clumsy bitch or just out of nowhere all the time. I used to have really intense nosebleeds. Blood is warm. Blood is very warm and it's very noticeable and it trickles. And it's noisy when it trickles. What I'm saying is, how do you get a gash in your cheek and one, not feel how cold that feels on your skin, but also the warm blood going down your face and the tick, tick. Hello? Anyway, after I was rushed to the hospital, my doctor told me that I must have been sleepwalking, but then he showed me something that made my blood turn cold. He lifted up my shirt to reveal a sewn up incision where my kidneys were. My eyes widening. You somehow lost your left kidney last night. We don't know how though. Sorry, Mitch. I told y'all this was like a step up from Jeff. I wasn't wrong, but right. No, my blood is black and pools onto the ground. I believe you, Blahush. You could say, like the doctor would more or less say something more along the lines of, "It seems like you had your kidneys removed unprofessionally. Have you had any encounters that would? Have you had any run-ins with like any doctors? It doesn't seem like you have anything on your record of a kidney removal. Yada yada. You know that kind of shit." They would ask you questions, not being like, "We don't know what happened. Sorry, chief." Uh, the next night was my breaking point. Around midnight, I woke up to see a truly horrifying sight. I was staring face to face with a creature with a black hoodie and a dark blue mask with no nose or mouth staring down at me. The thing that scared me the most was that it had no eyes, just simply black sockets. The creature also had some black substance dripping from its sockets. Excuse me. I grabbed the camera nearby on a mantle and took a picture. After the picture was took, the creature lunged at me and then tried to claw open my chest to get to my lungs. How do you know that? I stopped it by kicking it in the face. As I ran out of my room, I grabbed my wallet. I would need the money. I ran out of my brother's house into the night. I eventually ended up in the woods near Edwin's house and tripped on a rock. I fell unconscious and woke up in the hospital. My doctor entered the room, the same one who treated me before. "I have good news and bad news, Mitch," my doctor said. "The good news is that you had minor injuries and your parents are going to pick you up." I sighed with relief. "The bad news is that your brother had been killed by some thing. I'm sorry." What the fuck? What kind of doctor? I need to keep my sanity. My parents took me back to Edwin's house to collect my remaining belongings, which I did. Upon entering my room, I was scared, but remained calm. I grabbed my camera and stopped dead in my tracks. In the hallway leading to my room, I saw Edwin's body and something small lying next to it. I picked up the small thing and entered my parents' car, not mentioning Edwin's corpse. I looked at the thing that I had picked up and nearly vomited. I was holding my stolen left eaten kidney. My stolen half-eaten kidney with some black substance on it. How do you know it was yours? Do you know what your kidneys look like? Like, physically? Bah, whatever. That's the end of that story. Short one, but that's your palate cleanser. It's also equally as kind of weird, but it is a step up. And by a step up, it's like a 3 out of 10. At least the character's cool. And now I have two. One called Spiderland and the other Strangest Security Tape I've ever seen. Strangest Security Tape is actually good. We can save that. Yeah. I can probably go find that in just a moment. All right. Now, we get to the worst of it. This is going to be our sanity meter. We're going to make these creepypasta monsters into a battle royale. God, I wish. That gave me an excuse to kill the next one we were doing. Are you ready? So, the next story we're reading, you already know who it is. It's Sonic EXE. Yes, we are actually doing this. And you cannot stop me. We're reading Sonic EXE. Ooh, I've never heard of this. Oh, dude, you're in for it. Oh, this is gonna be the worst. All right. You ready? Here we go. The first sentence. As a Sonic fan, please don't. I'm also a Sonic fan. And here's the first line. I'm a total Sonic fan, much like everyone else. I hate this fucking story. Okay. Okay. We got this. We got this. We can get through this, gang. I believe in us. We can get through this story. Hello, hello, hello. I need to fix my realistic blood and eyes. I know, right? We're getting our fill. So, our sanity meter is currently at 90%. I think. Are you ready? See me slowly lose my mind? Yes, you are. This is where the batshit insane comes from. Your avatar. I'm just a guy. Your avatar's fucking amazing. Thank you, thank you. Yay! Yay, yippee! Thank you for the claps. Reading for this. I'm reading this now in Wattpad. Oh, good luck. All right. I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. I don't think I've ever played glitchy or hacked games before, though I don't think I want to I don't think I want to play any after the experience I had. It started on a nice summer afternoon. I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I like how you get to explore the towns in it. Holy, that app is ancient. You're old. That's what I'm saying. I used to be a Wattpad kid, though, so I guess I am old. Well, no, I was actually a fanfic.net user. More so than Wattpad. God, I'm old! Anyway. Until I noticed, out of my peripheral vision, that the mailman had arrived and put something in my mailbox as usual and left. I paused my game to go see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the mail was a CD case for computers and a note. Not even packaged. I took it inside. I looked at the note first and realized it was from my dear friend Kyle. Let's just call him that. His name was never actually Kyle. That's fucking crazy. His name was never actually Kyle. It was a moniker. But it stuck. No, it's okay. It's just a name. It's okay. Whom I hadn't heard from in 2 weeks. I know that because I recognized his handwriting. Though what was weird was how it looked. It looked badly written, scratchy, and somewhat difficult to read. Excuse me? Not even AO3 kid. I read AO3 nowadays. Where do you think I get my Sonato fix from? Okay. Okay. It looked badly written and scratchy and was somewhat difficult to read, as if Kyle was having a hard time writing it down and did it in a hurry. This is what he wrote. Tom, I can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late, and I was hoping you'd do it for me. I can't do it. He's after me, and if you don't destroy the CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast for me. Please, Tom, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. It's too late for me. Destroy the disc and you'll destroy him. But do it quick, otherwise he'll catch you. Don't even play the game. It's what he wants. Just destroy it. Please. Kyle. Well, that was certainly weird. I'm not even kidding. That's how it's written. I'm not even kidding. That's how it's written. Even though Kyle is my best friend and I hadn't seen him in 2 weeks, I didn't do what he asked me. I don't think that a simple game disc would do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. You're a horrible friend. Anyway, I looked at the disc and it looks like any other computer's CDR disc, except it had black marker on it with written except it had black marker on it written sonic.exe. And it was much unlike Kyle's handwriting, meaning that he must have gotten it from someone else, like a pawn shop or eBay. When I saw Sonic on the writing of the CD, I was actually excited and wanted to play it, since I'm a big Sonic fan. 85%. I went up to my room and turned on my computer and put in the disc and installed the game. When the title screen popped up, I noticed that it was the first Sonic game. I was like, awesome, because like I said earlier, I liked the classics. The first thing I noticed that was out of place was when I pressed start, there was a split second where I saw the title image turn into something much different. Something I now consider horrifying before cutting to black. I remember what the image looked like in that split second before the game cut to black. No, you don't. The sky had darkened. The title emblem was rusted and ruined. The Sega 1991 was now instead Sega 666, and the water had turned red like blood. %? But the freakiest thing it was in that split second frame was Sonic. His eyes were pitch black and bleeding with two glowing red dots staring right at me, and his smile had stretched wider to the edge of his face. No, it didn't. I'm looking at the image right now. No, it didn't. Blood. I know, right? I was rather disturbed about that image when I first saw it, though I figured that it was just a glitch and forgot about it. After it cut to black and stayed like that for about 10 seconds or so. And then another weird thing happened. The save file select from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up, and I was like, what the fuck? What's this doing in the first Sonic game? No, wait, I should read this how it's actually written. Save file from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up, and I was like, WTF? What is this doing in the first Sonic game? Anyway, then I noticed something off. The background was a dark, cloudy sky from the bad Stardust Speedway level from Sonic CD, and there were only 3 save files. Chat. The music was that creepy Caverns of Winter music from Earthbound, only it was extended and just seemed to have been in reverse. So goddamn help me. And the image of the save file where you see a preview of the level you're on was just red static for all three files. What freaked me out was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik. Now I was sure that something was up. Like, I mean, how can you play as Robotnik in a classic Sonic game, for crying out loud? That's when I realized this wasn't a glitchy game, it was a hacked game. Duh! Yeah, it definitely looked hacked. It was really creepy, but as a smart gamer, I wasn't scared. 75%. As a smart gamer. Chat. Okay, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together. Okay. I told myself it was just a hacked game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyways, shaking off the creeped out feeling, I picked file 1 and chose Tails, and when I selected and got started, the game froze for about 5 seconds. And I heard a creepy pixelated laugh that sounded like an awful lot like the Kefka guy from from Final Fantasy before cutting to black. The Kefka guy from Final Fantasy. It's fine. It's fine. We're not even halfway done. It's fine. We're not even halfway done. Fuck's sake. Okay. Sorry, I had to go check something. Okay. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more. Then it showed the typical level title thing, except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, and the text showed only Hill Act 1. The screen faded in, and the level title vanished, revealing Tails in the Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The music was different, though. It sounded like a peaceful melody in reverse. Anyway, I started playing and had Tails start running like you would in any of the Sonic Classic games. What was odd was that as Tails was running along the level, there was nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. That's when the peaceful music started to lower down and the slow, deep tones very slowly as I kept going. That's not in the fan game. They completely missed that in the fan game. $5 minutes, that's long. It is long. I think in the fan game, at most, it's like 2 minutes. Okay. I could go check because I do actually have the game on my computer. I have both the original, specifically, I think version 7, and the remake. Why? Why not? Uh, mm, I suddenly saw something and I stopped to see what it was. It was one of the small animals lying dead on the ground, bleeding. That's when the music started to slow down. Tails had a shocked and saddened look on his face that I never saw him have before. So I had to move along and he kept that worried look on his face. As he kept moving, I saw more dead animals as Tails moved past them, looking more and more worried as the music lowered and he moved past more dead animals. That's surely a sentence. I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed them in rather gruesome ways. A squirrel was hanging on a tree with what appeared to be his entrails hanging out. A bunny had all four of his limbs torn, and a duck had his eyes gouged out and his throat slit. How can you tell that with pixel art? Let alone that tiny of pixel art. How can you tell? Uh, ooh, okay. I got some more recommendations from an acquaintance of mine, and Lost Silver is on that list alongside Smile Dog. I might go for that. Maybe they got the assets from Mortal Kombat. I think literally from the fan game for Sonic EXE, they did actually use the Mortal Kombat blood splatters on the floor. Hi, we're reading bad creepypastas. Because I remember that very vividly. That like when I was one time, I saw the game. I had never actually looked into Mortal Kombat before getting into Sonic EXE and stuff. I remember I saw the first. I think it was the first Mortal Kombat game. I don't remember which one it was, but I noticed the blood sprites and I was like, "Those are from." I recognize those. Huh? Neat. All right, let's continue. I felt so sick to my stomach when I saw this massacre, and apparently so did Tails. After a few more seconds, there were no more animals, and the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails to continue. After a minute passed, and after the music had stopped, after a minute passed, after the music stopped. 70%. Tails was running up a hill, and then he stopped. It wasn't until I saw why. Sonic was there on the other side of the screen with his back against Tails, with his back turned towards Tails. It says back against Tails, but that's not what you meant. You meant back towards Tails, with his eyes closed. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smile faltered, obviously noticing that Sonic wasn't responding to him, not acting as if he was totally oblivious to Tails' presence. Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and I noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make a move, so this had to be a cutscene. Suddenly, I began to have a growing feeling of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger or something bad was going to happen. I heard faint static growing louder as Tails was inches away from Sonic and stopped and stuck his hand out to touch him. That foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger and stronger, and I felt the urge to tell Tails to get away from Sonic as the static grew louder. You are a grown ass man playing a video game. Have you never played a horror game in your life? Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open and they were all black with those red glowing eyes. Just like the title image, I thought there wasn't a smile. Though there wasn't a smile. With what happened on the screen turned black and the static sound was off. It stayed black for about 7 seconds. Why is it so specific? It stayed black for about 7 seconds, and then white text appeared, forming a message saying, "Hello, do you want to play with me?" As I was at this point, I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue with this game, but my curiosity got the better of me when I was taken to a different level with the title now saying Hide and Seek. This time I was in the Angel Island level from Sonic 3, and it looked like everything was on fire. Tails looked as though he was scared out of his wits this time. He was actually looked at me and made frantic gestures of me as if he wanted me to get out of the area as fast as possible. I was starting to get freaked out by this. I mean, Tails was actually breaking the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get him out of there. So I pressed down on the arrow key as hard as I could and made him run as fast as he could. A pixelated version of that creepy thing when you meet Shadow in the Ark. Chat, please, for the love. My dear Starlines, I need y'all to know something. The specifics, when you're writing a story and you have to pull specifics like this is not good. This is not good. Avoid doing this if you're ever writing a story. So when I say this is me being as loving as possible. Do not do this when you're writing stories because it's bad. It's very bad. All right, here we go. A pixelated version of that creepy theme when you meet Shadow at the Ark as Robotnik from SA2 was playing as I made Tails trek through the desolate forest, trying to help him escape from whatever he was trying to run from. You see, that doesn't flow well. So when you're trying to write that something, don't do it like that. Just find literally anything else but like pop culture references like that. Or if you are needing to pull from somewhere like this, like for example, if you're writing a gaming creepypasta and you need to describe what your thing is like, don't be overly specific. Suddenly, I heard that creepy laugh again, that awful Kefka laugh. See, right after 10 seconds had passed as I helped Tails run through the forest, and then I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping everywhere on the screen, again with those black and red eyes. The music changed to that suspenseful drowning jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails slowly ganging up on him, flying. Sonic wasn't running, he was actually flying. The flying pose of a sprite was made to look very similar to Metal Sonic's flying pose in Sonic CD, except it was just Sonic and he had the black and red eyes again. Only this time, he had the most deranged looking grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving the poor little fox as he ganged up on him. Suddenly, when Tails tripped, another cutscene, the music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails laid there and started crying for 15 seconds. Good lord, the seconds. Oh my god. Okay. The scene was rather upsetting to watch, and I kind of teared up myself, but then Sonic appeared right in front of Tails, and Tails looked up in horror. Blood started to come from those blackened eyes, and Sonic as a grin slowly grew from his face. As he looked down at the horrified fox, I could do nothing but watch. Just in a split second, Sonic lunged at Tails right before the screen went black. There was a loud screeching noise that only lasted 5 seconds. 65%. The text returned, only this time it said, "You're too slow. Want to try again?" And then that awful laugh came with it. I was so shocked by what happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, he couldn't have. He and Tails are supposed to be best friends, right? Why did Sonic do that to him? So help me fucking. I shook the shock off. As I was brought back to the character select. The save file that had Tails was different. Tails was no longer in the box itself, but in the TV screen, which was flickering with that red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding. His orange fur had gone black, and he had an expression of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next. Can you do a Jeff Goldblum voice for the "You're Too Slow"? That will not be the first thing in my mind if I countered this. That's what I'm saying. I can't do Jeff Goldblum voice. I'm sorry. The laugh came again, and the screen cut to black and stayed there for another 10 seconds. This time the level said, "You can't run." I was really freaked out by now. I couldn't really tell if this was a glitch or a hack or some kind of sick, twisted joke or anything, really. It's called a horror hack. You dumb motherfucker. But despite my fear of what happened next, I kept playing. The next level looked much different. Also, wait, no, it wouldn't be a hack. It's a mod. Or it's a standalone game. It's not a mod. It's not a mod if it's a standalone game. It's a hack. I think. I forget the specific terms. Anyway. The guy is easily scared. Tom is such a fucking wuss, dude. The laugh came again, and the screen cut to black again and stayed there for another 10 seconds. This time, the level said, "You can't run." I was really freaked out by now. I couldn't really tell if this was okay. No, I already read this. The next level looked much different. It had the ground of the scrap brain zone, but the sky background looked like the main menu and had a dark reddish cloudy sky. But it was the music that creeped me out the most. It was the sound. It sounded like Gygas's theme right after you beat Pokey in Earthbound. I'm going to... Okay, 60%. I also noticed that Knuckles looked afraid, just like Tails did. Though not as much. More rather, he looked a little unnerved. He broke the fourth wall, just like Tails, and looked as if he wasn't sure about what was going on, but I made a move anyway. He ran down the straight pathway in this dark level. As he did, the screen started to flicker red static a couple times, and then that maddening laugh came again. Then after a few seconds of running, I noticed several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible is going to happen to Knuckles. He looked nauseated walking down this blood-stained road, but I kept him going. Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of him with those black and red eyes, and red static appeared again. When the static vanished, showing nothing but a black screen on the text saying, "Found you." I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already? What was going on? Anyway, red static came again, and I was back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time, that high-pitched squealing from Silent Hill 1's final boss theme was playing. Was this some kind of boss battle with Sonic? I hope to God it wasn't really. I hoped to God it wasn't, honestly. Suddenly, Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles in what appeared to be pixelated black smoke. I made Knuckles turn and then punch Sonic, but Sonic vanished in black pixelated smoke before he could even land a hit, and that terrible laugh went off again. Then Sonic appeared behind Knuckles again, and I made him punch again, and Sonic vanished again, laughing. Again and again and again and again. Okay. Then Sonic appeared behind Knuckles again. Stop! 60? Are we at 60% now? I think so. Why is Sonic such a meanie? I know, right? And then I made him punch again. Okay, Knuckles was panicking even more, and I felt like I was going crazy. Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing a sick, twisted little mind game with me and Knuckles. Another cutscene played as Knuckles fell to his knees and clutched his head, sobbing. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving us both crazy. And then in a split second, Sonic lunged at Knuckles, and the screen went black with another distorted screeching noise that lasted for at least 3 seconds. Another text message appeared. So many souls to play with. So little time. Wouldn't you agree? What the hell? Just what was going on? I started to think Sonic was actually trying to talk to me through the game, but I was too scared to think that. I was brought back to the main menu, and this time the second file box had Knuckles on the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to a reddish gray. His dreadlocks were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding too. And he had a look of sadness on his face. I began to think that those are the actual characters trapped in those TV screens on the save files, but I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. So I shut the game off and took a break. I took a nap. Wish I hadn't, because then I began to have the most disturbing nightmare. I was in pitch black darkness, though I was under the light given off by a lamp that hung high above my head. I could hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. You'd think Tails is going like, like actual sobbing, or is like wait, wait, wait. Hot? Excuse me? Fuck you mean? Excuse, what do you mean by this video? What do you mean? Oh god. Pando, hello. Okay. They were saying stuff like, help us, and why did you give us to him? And run away before he gets you too. The cries dried out as I heard Sonic laugh. His laugh, it sounded a lot like the distorted Kefka laugh. Stop saying Kefka laugh! Stop saying Kefka laugh! I'm begging with my fucking life! It's always Kefka. I hate this fucking story. You're a lot of fun to play with, kid. Just like your friend Kyle. Though, he didn't last long. I was scared and looking around for the source of the voice. Won't be long now until you join him and all of my other friends. I saw him walking towards me, flickering in and out in several directions. You can't run, kid. You're in my world now, just like the others. When he grabbed me and I saw his bleeding black and red eyes and grinning face, I woke up with a fright. After a couple of hours, I decided to continue playing the game. I don't know why, but I had to know. I had to figure out why this was happening. So I turned on the computer, turned on the game, and selected Robotnik next. I still thought that was wacky, playing as Robotnik. But anyway, the level title appeared again, and this time it said ... which I found really freaky. This time I was in some kind of hallway. Didn't really look like it was from any of the classic Sonic games, though it had a pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered. The walls were dark grayish purple with animated candlelights and a few dark blood stains here and there. And there was a dark red curtain hanging above the top part of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, can you stop being specific with your fucking seconds? The red curtain swayed very slowly, but whenever you're playing the game, you can barely see it move. Then how would Tom notice? How is he very specific? He said every 12 seconds or so, the red curtain swayed very slowly, but whenever you're playing the game, you can barely see it move. Then how did you know it was moving, you dumb fuck? The music was oddly pleasant. A piano playing a rather sad yet peaceful song, but I knew better. This was the song that played in Hill Act 1, only it wasn't in reverse. How do you know that? How do you know that, you fucking dipshit? Anyway. Oh my god. Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous like Tails and Knuckles did, but he did have a suspicious look on his face, as if he just had a little bit of paranoia. How do you know this? He did a little animation when I just left him standing. He turned his head to the left and then to the right, at least looked twice, and then shrugged at me, as if he had no idea where he was or what was going on. Even though I was scared out of my mind about what was going to happen, I had Robotnik continue onward. He did his usual running animation, you know, when you've beaten him at the end of a classic Sonic game and you chase him, as we continued through the hallway. Then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading towards downward. Now I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, though I pressed onward. As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed that the walls had gotten darker and more reddish. The red torches are now an eerie blue. Then we landed on another hallway. This one was longer than the last one, for at least it felt like it. And then we headed down another flight of stairs. This one was much longer, took at least 1 full minute. And then I heard that horrid. I'm not even going to say it anymore. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not reading it. I'm not reading it anymore. And then I heard that horrid laugh again. And then the music slowly faded out until it was quiet. As I did, the walls turned more dark red, and the torches were a black flame now. When Robotnik landed onto the third hallway, I noticed I noticed he now looked really creeped out. Though he tried to hide it, I couldn't blame him. I was scared too. Suddenly, Sonic popped right in front of Robotnik, the same way he did with Knuckles, and then red static. So help me. The red static lasted for about 15 seconds, and then it showed me a most unpleasant image. Are y'all ready? The image showed an image. The image showed an image of Sonic standing in the darkness, where you can only see his face, while his head or torso faded into black. He looked so real you could actually see the lines in his blue fur, as if you could actually feel the fur if you touched the screen. His face. Oh god, he had the most horrifying smile I had ever seen. And that's saying something considering I saw that image at the start of the game. His eyes were wide and black and once again crying blood, and there were two small glowing red dots in those black eyes staring right at me, as if he was staring into my mind. His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the sides of his face like a Cheshire cat, except Sonic had fangs. Very sharp fangs. Much like the werehog teeth, except more vicious looking. How do you... Whatever. 55%. Somewhat yellowish, and from the looks of it, he had stains of blood and small bits of flesh on his lips and fangs as if he had ate some animal. I stared at the gruesome image for a good 30 seconds, never taking my eyes off of it. I felt as if he was actually looking at me, smiling at me. That face. It just took another 10 seconds for it to etch itself into my brain for good. Stop! Then the screen flickered with red static again 3 times. And on the third time I heard the laugh, except this time it sounded distorted, demonic even. It went back to the image again, except this time there was text again, though it was messed up, but it pretty much one of the most horrifying things since this game. I am God. It was when I read that message while looking at Sonic when it hit me. I realized then and there. Chat, we're about to read the most fucking bullshittery sentence. It was when I read that message while looking at Sonic when it hit me. I realized that right then and there. This Sonic was a monster. A pure, evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented monster. And all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and possibly Kyle, are all just his little toys. And this game is the very gateway into his chaotic, nightmarish world and the very hell his victims are trapped in. Suddenly, in an actual split second, has it not actually been split seconds this entire time? But suddenly, in an actual split second, I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screaming loudly with his mouth wide open to an unnatural length, revealing nothing but a literal spiraling abyss of pure darkness before the red static came again. This time much louder and distorted, so loud that it hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds. Then it stopped and slowed and showed nothing but a black screen. As I sat there staring at the black screen, one last text came up. Ready for round 2, Tom? The laugh, now sounding more clear as if Sonic was right behind me, played again 3 times as I looked at the text in shock and confusion. Then I got booted back to the main menu. This time the third save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. The Robotnik's skin turned a dull gray, his mustache drooped and had blackened, his glasses broke, and blood was coming from them, and he had a mere dead-like expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, and I cried a lot. I pitied them for the agony they'd gone through. They were forever trapped within this game, forever tormented by that horrid hedgehog, and always will be. Then the computer shut itself off. I couldn't turn it back on no matter what I did. I sat there for maybe 25 seconds. 45%. Horrified at what just happened. Sonic is the very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who play his game in more ways than one, and then when he gets bored, he drags you into the game. Literally drags you to hell, to where he can play with you always as his toy. I can't get the game out of my computer. I think it's stuck there, but at least I managed to turn it back on for now. After I sat there for 25 seconds, 40%, I heard the laugh right behind me like a whisper. Try to keep this interesting for me, Tom. I turned around to see where that voice was coming from, and what I saw made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic plushie, smiling with bloodstains under its eyes. I kept my sanity! At least someone! We made it with 40% sanity. We went from 90 to 40. So did you guys know that there's a sequel to this and a remake? No. Yeah, there is. There is a remake. I know the game sequel was Sally. That's not the official one. Did it get better? Vigio? Would you tell me? Would you believe me if I told you it's the same quality? And the 20s and the story, the remake of the first story, which is known as like the 2017 remake, it's worse. We're not reading the 2017 remake. You want to know why? Because every time I have read that with my acquaintances, it has lasted for 6 hours. The story is almost 200 pages long. The story, okay, I have a Google Doc of it. I keep it because the original story, the original 2017 remake, the original 2017 remake of Sonic EXE is on Fur Affinity, I think. Well, it was, and then it got taken down because the creator of this story is a pedophile. But the hello. The I do have the actual story itself. And the story itself, okay, I lied. It's not over 200 pages. It is 74. It has 74 pages. A convicted one? Yes. Like straight up. But the story is 74 pages. It is fucking long. It is so long, dude. Like, on one hand, it's not the biggest story imaginable, but you gotta remember, this is a internet file. I love your lovely blue eyes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm losing my mind a little bit here. My voice is getting hoarse. Is it from the same guy? Yes. The okay. Let me get into this. Let me explain something, right? So, technically, there's four quote unquote official stories for Sonic EXE. The first one is the one we just read. That's the first ever one. I think it was posted in 2012. Then there's the lost sequel that got found again recently. And then there's the other sequel that was to replace the other one that was made. Hang on. When was this made? It was released in 2014. And then you have the 2017 remake. All of them are dog water. Every single one. I shit you not. The 2017 remake. I'm not kidding when I say this. Did you read them? Yes. I've read all of them. You want to know what I think? The first story sucks. Round 2's okay at best. The Lost sequel somehow is even worse than the first one. And 2017 is fetish material. Okay. Do you want to know why I say that? Let me read you an excerpt so you can get an idea. You ready? Let's see. Found it. Okay. I found a good excerpt. Are you ready? Okay. Tom froze. Through the window, he saw the creature in his lanky beastly form, standing beside her as she obviously struggled to get the door open, smiling evilly at him. The creature raised a finger and waved it, doing a no, no, no motion before bringing it to his curled lips as if he was shushing Tom. Vicky! Vicky, get out of there! Tom started to say, Get the fuck out of there, Vic! Vicky looked at him with a confused look before turning to see the monster. She recoiled and slumped against the door, sliding down until she was on the floor as Roger and Tom were banging against the door and screaming for her to run. Oh yeah, there's new characters in the story, by the way. Tom, help me! Help me! Vicky screamed and sobbed. The grinning creature casually strolled towards her and smiled his fanged smile down at her, very clearly enjoying the terror he was inflicting on her. Roger was trying to break the door down while Tom was yelling desperately and banging his fists on the door. Leave her alone, you goddamn monster! Tom screamed. Tears of rage were streaming down his face as the creature drew closer to her. X then stopped and moved his black and red eyes towards the angered Tom, amused by his anger and his helplessness. God damn you! I swear to God, I'm going to kill you! You hear me, you son of a bitch? I'll kill you! The creature flashed an amused grin at Tom before opening his mouth wide again. An unnatural growl was heard once more in combination to Vicky's screams of terror. Tom could only scream in despair as he watched the monster sadistically lift Vicky up with many arms that shot out of his mouth, holding her in place to pull open her own. With a choked sob, Tom forced himself to shut his eyes and look away as he heard Vicky's jaw break and the grotesque sounds of the creature's hands forcing its way down her gullet to rip her soul out. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean now? Yeah. The entire story is essentially a power fantasy and fetish fuel. It is bad. Sonic EXE became a self-insert. It always was a self-insert. Hi, hello, welcome to the stream. He was always a self-insert. I am God. Come on, real shit. The entire plot of Sonic EXE is fetish mining. Because the entire point is for Sonic EXE. The entire point is Sonic EXE stealing people's souls to take them to his own world so he can quote unquote play with them. He is essentially building a soul whorehouse, and it's insane. It's like Freddy Krueger. Fucking, I guess, if Freddy Krueger also banged his victims. It is very much implied that at the end of the story that EXE, or X as he's called in the 2017 remake, he was going to fuck Tom. You think I'm joking? I'm not. Why do you think EXE, or like X, is so obsessed with Tom? He was going to fuck him. He was gonna fuck him. I kid you not. Also, Stuffed Crust for context, we read Jeff the Killer, Eyeless Jack, and Sonic EXE. Which I only picked the worst because I figured I would torture my audience because it's funny. And I get to rant and rave how much I fucking love and hate these stories. Oh, triple whammy of classics. I know, right? Okay, if you want an idea of my reading experience so far, Jeff the Killer, it was essentially, you could tell it was written by a teenager. Eyeless Jack was like a step up, but you can still tell it was written by someone extremely inexperienced with like the real world. And then Sonic EXE is just horse shit. Did anyone make any good Sonic EXE content? There's a whole fandom now that makes good content. There's a remake of the official game that is actually really fucking good. I would recommend it for anyone looking for an authentic, good like Sonic EXE experience. It should be made by because I heard it got popular because of the creepypasta Mickey Mouse thing. You mean Suicide Mouse? Kind of. It mainly got popular because like it was one of its first. It was one of the pioneers of gaming creepypastas. As dog shit as the story was, you can't deny and say there was some form of like movement. The game made it took off. Yeah, it was the game. It was the game mainly. Fun fact: there are 7 versions of the original EXE game, and each and every one of them has something different. I think the one that has a secret level, secret levels, plural, and a secret ending as a result, it was first. One of the first. The thing that the one with the secret levels, I think, that is much more like the ones that were more expanded upon. It was the version 666, which is literally just version 6, but they elongated it to the funny devil number. He Satan, I know, right? I think they try to imply in this that like Sonic EXE is supposed to be a form of devil, but that never really stuck, and he just kind of is his own religious figure, which I mean, I guess, but like, I don't know. I don't know what you want. Oh, fuck. Fuck. Big stretchy. I'm tempted to read round 2 to continue torturing you guys. Man, why would anyone even think Sonic is a god thing? I don't know. I mean, it is just taking his form. Less so, it's Sonic himself being God. So I guess that's why. But at the same time, it's like, what's the point, man? Like, uh, if it were up to me, I would make the story tackle in. Would anyone tackle the. I don't know. How about you ask that one soldier from Helsing Abridged? How minor spelling mistake. I must eat wasabi. You made 2. You gotta eat 2 pieces of wasabi. Teehee. That's the rules. Them's the breaks, pal. Anyway. If it were up to me, I would make a fucking I would probably make a creepypasta myself that delves into the idea of religious horror because as a little starling, I grew up surrounded by specific religions, and it has been a very extreme experience. It left me with a lot of long lasting issues. So, as a little starling, I internalized a lot of the teachings of specifically Christianity and Catholicism. Uh, and I'd love to delve into this idea, especially, okay, hear me out, right? Do something like this. What if God was real? He came down to see you. He looked you in the eyes and said that he hated you. That's the kind of horror I would love to delve into because, quite frankly, the idea of it is scary. Kind of reminds me of the Mandela catalog. I know, right? It's kind of nuts. The thing is, the difference between my idea and Mandela catalog is that Mandela catalog, God has been replaced. In of itself, that is terrifying, right? In of itself, Mandela catalog saying God has either never existed or he has been replaced is horrifying, right? But this is God himself. This is him, real and actual, looking you right in the eyes. Looking you directly in the face. You specifically telling you that he hates you. He loathes you. He wishes he never made you. That kind of thing. I would absolutely love to be able to experience that kind of horror, or at the very least, like, make that myself, because, quite frankly, that's terrifying. You had devoted yourself this entire time to a god that doesn't even fucking like you. It's horrible. It's something beyond human comprehension. And I'd love to experience that. Sounds like an idea for cosmic horror. I know, right? Like my dad. My dad is a cosmic horror, as you people would call him. He lives amongst the stars, and he, as much as I fear gods, he is not one I fear because he actually does love every single one of us. That's why astrology and stuff is so viable to some degree. It brings comfort and well being because astrology is supposed to help you to some degree through your day and day. Like, can I feel good about this? Can I have something nice to be said to me that is specifically towards me, yes, you can through your astrology signs, like your Chinese New Year's, all these different forms of astrology. I mean, it's the Bible. God does hate people, especially people who twist his words. Exactly. So, my thing is, when it comes to that, I wouldn't be surprised if he were to say that to the people who misuse his word. But what if you had followed it to a T? You were a good person. You were a lovely person. You were flawed, but you were beautiful. You were a wonderful person. And he still said that to you. It's like, how would you live with that? How would you live knowing that a devout, like a godly deity, a thing above you, a thing that you can't comprehend, a thing that you have only heard urban legends, myths, accounts, you have devoted yourself to, they don't even like you. Or, and argue with me if this is probably worse, what if they were obsessed with you? They loved you. They loved you so much to the point they would literally burn the world down for you. And they have the power to do so. It's not, yeah, a yandere god, technically. They had no, they had every single opportunity to essentially shatter the entire world for you because they love you. They love you so much. Mirai Nikki, I think, is like its own case of like yandere god. I am speaking of the terms of like a god that has millions of followers, not just someone who becomes god. Becoming god and being god are two very different things to me. Essentially, it is very, very okay. In my head, becoming god, that's terrifying in of itself, but it's not as scary as just God himself. You still have that shred of humanity, I suppose. Exactly. To be honest, First World, you know, is a terrible god. She is. She's horrible. Absolutely don't like her. I relate to her to some degree, but she is horrible. Terrible, awful person. My voice is getting hoarse. We've been here for like, what, 2 hours? I'll save round 2 and other stories like Lost Silver for another time because my voice is growing hoarse. Yeah, you went over 2 hours. That's great. Yeah. Honestly, like, I am not that great of a writer, but I am an artist. I can absolutely do something with this. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Alright. I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Love you all so much. Thank you for dealing with my autism bullshit. Go rest. I will. I'll go get some drink. It was nice meeting you. Yeah, you too. It's been a good day, everyone. And good night, chat. Good night, my little starlines. I'm gonna be calling y'all starlines. Oh, before I go, do you want to know why I call y'all starlines? It's a Sonic reference. Love you. Good night, everyone.